starting to learn out the parshas about the Mishkan. The building of the Mikdash. We know it says Va'asili Mikdash. This week's parsha and today's Chumash. Va'asili Mikdash Shechanti B'Soicham. That we need to. Hashem commanded us a mitzvah that we should build for Him a Mikdash or a Mishkan for His Shechina to rest in. And there are many, many different aspects to the Mishkan or the Beis HaMikdash, different kelim, and each one has its design and how it looked, and the materials it was made from. Tonight we're going to look at the Menorah, to a few aspects of the Menorah. There's another one here. The Inyan Sir Hagvi and Menorah, there were on the Menorah had certain cups on the Menorah. Let's see if there's a diagram here.
To hold the oil.
I have the picture from the Menorah.
To hold the oil?
1 second, I'll show you a diagram. No, not to hold the oil. On the actual Menorah itself, there was designs, there were flowers, there were things that looked like apples, and there were also cups. There were Alexandrian cups.
Cups for Noi?
Yeah, just for Noi. It was like on the each one of the branches.
אני ראש בית"ר. אני ראש בית"ר.
ראש השועלים.
ראש השועלים, מה תשחק איתם? מצאת משהו להחליף את העבודה?
היה שיעור טוב בבוקר, הפסדת.
מצאת מישהו?
Facing down or facing up?
Down, like this.
You were facing down.
Like this, 3 of them. 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I see.
You know we're gonna have it? But the Rambam.
The Rav explains
Rambam
that.
is the picture.
Actually, the Rav was explaining on Shabbos.
Right.
The Rav was explaining on Shabbos that that's what the whole cleave is upside down because
The Rambam himself, when he wrote his Mishnayos, he wrote his Pirush Mishnayos, he drew himself some diagrams throughout the Mishnayos that were necessary to understand the Mishnayos. He drew an actual picture in his handwriting of the Menorah. This is how he designed.
That's his handwriting?
Yes.
Yeah,
the Rambam.
Guf Ksaviat Kodesh. The Rambam.
Well,
And these are the cups that they're very simple over here, but these are the cups. These are called the Gviyim. The Gviyim on the Menorah. These different designs.
upside down.
He has a more. Right, you have here also, but it's small, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have one from the 770 one, you can see this.
Yeah.
I guess he received it from his rabbi and he received
We're going to learn about it. We're going to learn about it now. Amru Chazal said regarding these Gevim that were called the Gevi HaMenorah, Lamahi Doimin. What were they similar to? Chachamim said in Menachos, Kimin Koisis Alexandrian. They were similar to Alexandrian cups. Mefanish Aram, the Rambam explains Bepirush Mishnayos and his commentary in the Mishnayos, Bezeh Shakavana Lakois Ashashalayim Shleitzar. What does it mean, Alexandrian cup? The bottom of it was narrow. It didn't have a base where it could sit down. They would sit in cup holders. They had special holders to hold their cups. They put them down. They didn't put them straight on the table. It was little cup holders.
If somebody want to...
You mean
like a saucer.
all the cups in Beis Hamikdash will never
The red things?
Well, that's also true. The ones that they received the blood with was also
blood is all cones.
and
They're all
also,
cones.
right, we're cones. And also over here, they're like cones.
Gavim.
Alexandrian cups, that's what he means. That's how the Rambam
So
understands
basically,
what the Gemara
In
meant.
Beis Hamikdash, there were no cups facing
Not
up.
clear. That's what we're going to discuss now.
Down.
There were no facing like the opening up. I mean, sitting down. They were never sitting down. They're always either moving blood
So
and
that's
upside down.
right. So those were the other cups. These were special cups that were designed on the Menorah, and they were when the Gemara said they were Alexandrian cups. The Rambam understands it to mean that they referring to the bottom, that it was cone shaped, that it wasn't able to sit down. It had a pointy bottom. That's in Pirush Mishnayos. The Pirush Mishnayos is a commentary in the Mishnah. It's not halacha l'maisa because it's commentary in the Mishnah. But his other sefer, which he has, the Mishnah Torah, which he writes halachas, didn't one after another. The Rambam also passes like that. Alexandria, Shapir, and Rochav. The mouth is wide, Vishilayim, and the bottom is kotzer. When we find a very interesting thing. We have the design that the Rambam himself designed, the drawing of the Rambam and the Menorah. And he puts over there the cups upside down. Like we have over here, the cups are upside down.
Yeah.
The wider part of the cup was facing down. The bottom was up. And it was upside down.
That was where is it taking? Where the Rambam is coming up with this design?
So we know that the way the Rambam understands Alexandrian cups, that it was cone shaped. The question is, why did the Rambam portray it as being face down? Cup is usually sits up
like this, like this.
Right?
I mean again, but you can always
cup
also have a cup facing up with a cone. If you have a ring that's a little smaller, it could fit in there, and you can still have the cup.
Right.
You know, I'm saying is, where is he taking it? That it was upside down,
That's
and why
the
it was?
question. Yeah, that's the question.
There's the Rambam, you can take it.
No.
Well,
You have to know where you got it from.
Now, you have there could be an easy way to answer this question. The third paragraph. The Rambam said, I didn't make this drawing it's not an artistic drawing. It doesn't have all the fine details. The Menorah was beautiful, right?
Just the idea.
Just basic thing. He says, I'm just giving you the general idea how it was, the Rambam says. The ideas, me and Hagvim, you just know how many cups there were, how many of the other ornaments were, and where were they. It's not an order you know exactly how they looked. Predictuk, exact.
Exact, oh.
Right.
Or detailed, right?
Now, the truth of it here in the brackets, the Rebbe brings that to point out how it's not exact the picture. The Rebbe actually says that these cups, Alexandrian cups, were able to sit on the table in actuality. They were able to sit on the table, and when the Rambam made the picture, it's not exact that he made it so pointy to ending. They had a
little bit
flat.
Right. They write over here in the brackets, when he made it like as if it's a triangle, even though the Alexandrian cup wasn't like an actual triangle. We don't make cups this way. You can't sit it down.
It will be like an ice cream cone.
But it's basically saying that there was a cup. It would not be pointy. It would just be a.
So you're saying
smaller.
it's not exact. It's just a general. Give you a general gist of the
idea.
Yeah. But why would the Rambam Dafka go and make the cups upside down? Just because you're not showing it exact, why will the Chatchila make them upside down?
It makes more sense to be the other way.
The left column, the Rambam in general was known as being very medayik. He was very exact in all of his life. Everything he did, his works, everything is very exact.
You mean you're trying to say that he had
There was one time, I'll tell you a story. There was one time, the Rambam, everyone is very much into learning the Rambam and understanding the Rambam because his wording is very exact and very short. So this Rosh Hashiva will say this pshat, another Rosh Hashiva will say a different pshat.
The Rebbe in the Magna message had a question about the Rambam, and the Zusha came in the middle, and I read the story. And then he was cursed, and he asked him, what are you fighting for about the Rambam question? So he starts crying that the Zusha doesn't understand the Rambam. Zusha fell asleep, and then the Rambam came and told him the story, and then he came to the Alter Rebbe and gave him the Teres.
Right.
So he says the Zusha has more closest to the Rambam, the Meforshim, whatever the Alter Rebbe says, than me. They get it from the source. I don't know if this makes
The one time that they said Reb Chaim Brisker, Reb Chaim Soloveitchik, a Litvish Maisa, right? But Reb Chaim Soloveitchik, he learned Pshat in a certain Rambam a certain way. And they told him that, the Rambam has response, he has tshuvas to questions that he was asked. It was written in Arabic. And he wrote tshuvas to people at communities asked him questions about his sefer. They asked him, general, you wrote in your sefer this and this, what did you mean? You wrote this over here, what did you mean? And he wrote things, sometimes he corrected things, and And he's the Rambam. One time wrote about this very same halacha that Reb Chaim Brisker had learned one way. So they showed him that the Rambam in his Chuvas had actually himself explained himself differently. He explained his own din differently than what he was explaining. So yeah, you have to back down. You can't learn this way. So he said, no. He said the Rambam could learn the Rambam and I could learn the Rambam. Once the Rambam was written, once it's published, it's a sefer. It's a holy sefer for Ruach HaKodesh. It's the Rambam sefer. Now we could all learn the Rambam. I learned the Rambam one way. The Rambam says Pshat is different. It's not a typical story. They say also that the Tzemach Tzedek said a mimer, and one of his big Talmidim, Rav Hillel Parcher, afterwards was arguing with him. Now it's known by Chassidim that a mimer, Chassidus from Rebbe, is coming straight from Shemayim. So how could the Hillel? So Chassidim said to Rav Hillel, "How are you arguing with the Rebbe about the pshat and the mimer?" So he says, when the Rebbe said the mimer, that he was a vehicle for above, he was giving over Min HaShemayim the Torah, the Chassidus that had to be said. After the mimer's over, we can both discuss what the mimer meant. So even though the Tzemach Tzedek is the one who said the mimer, Chassidim say, but the one who's able to say the mimer also understands better pshat than the mimer. Anyway, so Lamaisa, getting back, so the Rambam was very exact. In the Mistaber, Klal does not make sense. He should design them so the exact opposite of what they were. Esim Mishnayim 22 times in his design, he made sure to put it upside down. So even though in general the Rambam said it's just giving the general picture, but it doesn't make sense. You do things opposite of what it was. Beis, it seems that the Rambam did this dafke. Sharamam tziris agvim ba'oifens in this manner. Kilodaitoi kain hayok viusam b'menorah. That's what he held. The shita was that it was down. Or he had a Kabbalah. So it wasn't something that he based on his learning. It was something based on a tradition which he had from his Malamed, from the Malamed before, generation after generation. Or maybe because he found a Chazal which we don't have. We don't have every. There are a lot of things are missing. Manuscripts. Maybe there was a Medrash or something that Chazal that we don't have that he had before him when he wrote his Sefer, and maybe it's it there. We find in other Svarim there are things that Rishonim say we don't have. You know, it says, for example, we start off the shir saying there's a pasuk in this week's parasha, "Va'asi b'mikdash v'shachanti b'soicham." So there are Svarim which say, many Svarim bring down a certain Chazal, which Chazal usually refers to Tanoim, Amoraim, from the Gemara, the Medrash, and this Chazal is not, it's quoted in many Svarim, but we don't have it in our Svarim.
It was missing a part of the Gemara that Tam Bavli was missing, or Tam Yerushalmi. Something I remember when I was a kid.
We are missing parts of Yerushalmi. Yes, we're missing parts of Yerushalmi. We're actually missing even on a number of Mishnayos. We don't have Masechtas for them. So we are definitely missing certain things. Now, one of my Menorah Chazal is also the Mikdash Shechayim to be Soicham. Amru Chazal. So Svarim say Amru Chazal. Chazal say B'soichoi loy nemer. It doesn't say I will rest in V'shechanti b'soichoi. Doesn't say b'soich in it, which should say I will rest in it. B'soicham b'chol echad ve'echad, in every single Jew. I will rest in every single Jew. No, this is a famous Maimer Chazal people quote. There's no Gemara measures you can open up, you're going to find it there. It's quoted in a few Svarim from a few hundred years ago. We have them quoting this Chazal, but we don't have it in our Svarim. It's not extant in our Svarim. And there are a number of Maimer Chazal like that. Not very common, but there are some like that, which we have, for example, there's one called Asid Chazer, Ulama Nikushma Chazer. Why is a Chazer called a Chazer? Asid Lachsa Litar Yisrael. In the beginning, in the ending, in the future, it's going to be Chayzer, going to return back to us to become Tahir. We one time spoke here in the Shir a year or two ago. What does that mean? How could it be it's going to come back Tahir? Many different Perushim, how we understand it. It's literal, not literal, different way. So it's not a Chazal we find in our Chazal, but there are many Sfarim that quote this Chazal. So it could be something like that. Ve'eni maybe is Zebes Sefer Yad. The Rambam did not bring this concept that it should be upside down.
What Sefer Yad means? What is
that?
What?
In Sefer Halochos.
In his Sefer Mishnah Torah, Ziyada Chazaka.
That's called Sefer Yad.
Kaboy Sheni maybe Sifrei Tziyurim Shapirish Shnai Shaloi. Like he doesn't bring in his Sefer. In general, there's certain things he doesn't bring from his Pirush Mishnayis, from his other work. Actually, in the bottom there's a note, on note 12, that note that was written later on. The Rebbe added this note years later. That recently it was there's a certain manuscript.
There was a picture, but they took it
There
out.
was a picture in the Rambam's, not only in his Pirush Mishnayis, but in his Yad Chazaka. It's not a Ksav Yad Kodesh of the Rambam, but it was a Ksav Yad, a manuscript, a design that had it also upside down. So similar to the way it was in the Mishnah Torah.
I have a question. The Torah said kaftorim, shukadin, prachim. But tell us how the menorah was. So
And what does it mean? What does it mean?
kaftorim, we know it's kaftor.
How do you
Shkadim
know?
is just small
How
one.
do you know small, big? How do you know?
How we know now? It's the same thing, guys. We're there.
That's why we'll see the end. There's a reason why the Rambam will make the picture.
Let's go to the next sif. Lamaisa, this thing that the Rebbe says here, the Rebbe is trying to explain why the Mishnah Torah did not discuss it. But Lamaisa, later on, the note pointing on the bottom, the Rambam did bring the design even in Mishnah Torah. The Rambam clearly held both in the Pirush Mishnayis and both in Mishnah Torah. Sometimes, by the way, we find contradictions. Sometimes in Pirush Mishnayis, he paskins one way. Mishnah Torah, he paskins differently. Who's the halacha like? We follow the Mishnah Torah. That was his later work. We always follow the later work. Just like, let's say, the Alter Rebbe. Alter Rebbe wrote a Shulchan Aruch, and later on in life he wrote a Siddur, and certain halachas he rewrote in the Siddur, because they were connected to the Siddur. And those halachas we see he paskins differently the way he did early in his life when he wrote in the Shulchan Aruch. So it was a change.
Reason
We
being.
follow the Siddur.
Reason being.
He was 18 years old when
He
he
changed
wrote
his
the
mind.
Shulchan
When he grew older, he
got
thought differently.
wiser.
He was 18 years old.
He thought differently. And the Rambam himself changed his mind. When he wrote his comment in the Mishnah, sometimes he held a certain way. Later on in life, when he wrote his Mishnah Torah, he rethought the whole thing again, and he passed it differently.
I mean, also the life.
It was a psak. A psak has to be understood up his seichel, and he understood different later on, and that was his final.
But it
In
doesn't
the
tell.
70s, if you look at videos, we didn't, in 77, they didn't have the menorah like the Rambam, and now they do. What happened?
Nothing.
What
You know, that
changed?
was people made it or something. It's not. You don't have to have a menorah like the Rambam. It's just someone
No,
made
but
it.
the Rebbe was talking about it.
No,
And now
someone made it
became
on.
a
People just
style.
made it on their own. Bachra made it. It wasn't something that came. Maila that the Rebbe said something. People made it a nice thing. They wanted to copy.
But
The
isn't
Rebbe
it
used to be.
the point of the Rambam
Yeah.
to change
Well,
his
was
mind?
it?
The Alter Rebbe was because
Only
of the
lately.
generation.
Only lately they
Yeah,
changed.
like
You
that
know,
40 years ago. Before that was
the
different.
physical world
They
has
said-
Okay,
changed.
that's the spiritual explanation behind it.
Yeah, I know.
Physically,
I mean, I wouldn't-
changed his mind.
Changed his mind.
Obviously, Maila, everything. Why he changed his mind was because that psak needed to be said that way the year, and later on.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So a lot of things. So we can learn from that today that everything that
Yeah.
has to do.
Yeah,
goes
you
up
know,
to
when
it.
someone learns the Gemara, and the Gemara has understands one way of thinking, later on the Gemara challenges that and changes. The first thinking is also Torah. It's part of Torah, and you're not allowed to learn that
Without-
before you say Berchas HaTorah in the morning. And even if the Gemara said that's wrong, the Gemara changes from that. It's all part of the Gemara, part of Torah. And a sheet is Beis Shammai, even though we don't follow the halacha Beis Shammai in most cases.
It's still
It-
learning.
it's still part of Torah. Elo El Divrei L'chaim. How we understand what does it mean? Elo El Divrei L'chaim. What does it mean? This is all could be from Hashem. If this one's saying this and this one's saying this,
It's a process. It's a
We see
process.
you have to
Hashem,
understand
we see
it.
Hashem changing certain things too, don't we?
Well, I mean, I get through the Chachamim.
Yeah,
Through
I
the
mean,
Chacham.
In other words,
Well, things that he
what it
said
was.
for the bad.
So now that the Goyim have taken a certain thing, I don't want this certain thing. I forget what it was.
Right, the Matseva,
Yeah.
the Avodah Zarah.
Yeah.
Well, certain things,
Change.
circumstantial changes.
Yeah.
Circumstances can change.
Now,
Now-
Bet Shammai will be like the Chazer. Chazer in time of Mashiach, we're allowed to eat it. Time of Mashiach,
No.
Bet Shammai will be the right and Bet Hillel not right.
Okay, we're getting off track. Let's stick to the track.
What page up now? What's that?
Testimony he has.
Yeah, you're on the right page.
Oh, yeah. Where's it starting from?
Fact, they were
No, from the beginning.
Around the Gimel, right?
What's the eyewitness testimony?
Okay, so now let me ask you a question, just leading up to what I'm going to tell you. But let's say you and somebody else were having a dispute as to whether or not the White House has a dome on top of it.
Has a what?
A dome on top of it.
The dome.
Okay?
The White House has one?
So one of you is going to show you on a dollar bill or whatever denomination it is at the White House. Will show you a picture of the White House that's published by the United States government, in which you see clearly that the White House does not have a dome on it. Are you going to accept that?
It's not the case in this case. We'll talk about it later.
I can show you. It so happens.
No, we understand your point of view.
Yeah, there are coins from the Chashmonaim, who were Kohanim, who served in the Beit HaMikdash itself. And these coins, they showed the menorah curved.
Who made it?
We don't know. We don't. It doesn't say it's the menorah. It doesn't say it's the menorah.
The Chashmonaim wrote it in Hebrew script, in Hebrew language.
Rather than
V-shape. Who were Kohanim in the Beit HaMikdash.
When you finish the Sefer,
and they were not only were they Kohanim, they were also the government. When the government publishes
and all these things, you have a lot of architectural things. You have to know when someone's putting a lamp or putting something, if they're actually making a design of the menorah that was in the Beis Hamikdash, or a menorah, or other ornaments. In Titus, the ark of Titus, you also have the menorah curved.
Yeah.
But we have to know.
And that was made by Goyim, though.
We have to know.
Jews.
We have to know if they're referring in general to the menorah or other. Shlomo Melech had a lot of menorahs in his Beis Hamikdash. We have to know if it's the menorah.
So they found that there are also many other. I did research on this, and there are many other archaeological findings they found, like on Tivorim and in Botei Knesset from the time of the Tanaim, in which they have pictures of the menorah together with the Gibeim and the Parachim, and everything is the way it's supposed to be, including even the base, and the Kanim are curved.
We have to take a look.
It could be that they didn't want to show how it actually was.
It also could be, right?
And the Rambam,
Changing it, so it shouldn't be.
It's not new information.
With all due respect to the Rambam never saw the menorah, and he was just.
Let's take a look further. Maybe you could bring us some pictures next week. Hanal metaretz mevaris harambam. Aval dayin kasha, we need to understand me'ez tam hayugviyam anera hafuch and shapil lamata. For what reason were these bechers upside down? Why would they be upside down? We see the krushim in the Mishkan, the cedar trees, that the wood that made up the beams in the Mishkan had to be put up the way they were grown, from bottoms up. From there we actually learn, the Gemara learns out a general rule in the Torah. When any mitzvah, let's say an esrig, when you hold the esrig, or you hold the lulav, you have derech dilasan, the way it grows. Shekol ha-mitzvahs kulan in adam yoytzman derech dilasan. So over here it's not derech dilasan, the covs don't grow, but seemingly the way it's used is this way in upward manner. Kein lama yiyah gvihim behefich miderech dilasan. Ishloimar shazbara b'zayim shemetzinu b'negei l'klolos yamener davar sheme'ein u'b'dungus hana. We find something similar regarding the general concept of the menorah. Al derech oir ha-menorah, amru chazal, loy lo-oir nitzarich. The light of the menorah was not for Hashem. Hashem doesn't need light. Eidus hu l'chol b'ay oilam. This is supposed to be a testimony to the whole world. Shashchina shoyri b'yisrael, Shechina rests in Klal Yisrael. Oir ha-menorah lo hoya kedei lo hoyer hamakim b'ay midua v'adrabah Sham eini tzarech loyrel. He hoisa edus l'chabayi oilam shashchina shar b'Yisrael. Comes out the menorah was not light for inside; it was light for outside. Mahai timer for this very reason, the Gemara says, "Hayuchaloinis beis hamikdash ba'oifen hafchi mechaloinis stam." The windows of the beis hamikdash were the opposite the way normal windows are. Alo shkufim va'atumim. Shkufim machutz, va'atumim mifnim, meaning rechavim bachutz, vitzar mifnim. They were wide on the outside, and small, narrower on the inside.
Like in J.
Why would that be that way?
Well,
less light
if you want to give more light to the outside.
Oh, you want to give it out to the outside, yeah.
Beis Hamikdash doesn't need your light. We don't need your light from outside. So Adarabah, the light is coming from inside to outside. Chaloyin bani kimavur b'zem mefarshim. Chaloyin bani ba'ofen. The windows were built shepsichasei rechava yois mebifneim asher belachutz. It's wider on the inside and the outside. Kedei sha'orish mechutz yispashet gam b'tzidei cheder should go all around in the room. Have a chaloyin space that makes sure you behepech. Katzim mebifneim, small inside. V'marchi v'hoyil l'chitzat chuk shtei oire yoitzim mehechel shetoyer loyim. That's Lashon Rashi. Ki tafkidi she'oir ha-menorah hu eidus hu l'chol b'yei oilam. It's an eidus for the whole entire world.
But they can't see.
Huh?
But they can't see.
The light of the menorah was supposed to go outwards. It wasn't meant for inside. It wasn't a concept of physical light to stay in the Beis HaMikdash. Al Derav Zeh says the Rebbe, maybe based on this, on the whole concept of the menorah that wasn't really meant for oil. The Bechaye, one of the Rishonim, explains what is the hint with why there was a design of cups on the menorah. What was the inyan in it? Gviyah hu kli sheyesh lebeis kibul v'mashke merava. The left column, top of page Mem Zayin. It's a vessel which has it in a place to hold something inside. V'mashke is able to give drink to others. V'zeu remez ala gagalim. It's a hint to the wheels. Shemekablim koiches al yoinim. The galgalim refers to the heavenly spheres. Shemekablim koiches al yoinim ashpiyim koich ba'elam hashafel. They have received very high powers, and they're able to mashpiyah them down to this low world. So same to the keli of the gviyah. The gviyim on the menorah says the bechaya was a keli in order to give off, to be able to hold within it a lot of koiches al yoinim, great levels of kedusha, and to be mashpiyah in it. Shad gasha b'zayeh hashpa me'ha'elyin lahashafel mashke u'merave. Hatafke de iki shal kois eini b'zeh shu kli kibul. The main purpose of a cup is not that it's able to hold something inside it. Zeu tafke shal chavos. That's the purpose of a barrel, something similar, where you put it away to storage to hold it there. Dvarim shemachzikim b'mayim yayin. Hava kois hu keli shal yodei megiyim amayim shemahachavos oy mehamayim mehemashkim navas adam hashoyse. The purpose of the cup is not to store it. The purpose of the cup is just at that level to bring it to the person. I need to get the drink. I want to have wine from the barrel, so I have a cup which I bring the wine to my mouth. Or I want to get from the spring, I put my cup in there and I bring it to my mouth. So the cup is not here to hold it. The cup is just the intermediary to give off the drink, not to sit there. Not supposed to stay there. Nimsa Shabir and Al Shabachayim Masim and Maimin Azal Hanal Al Derech Klolos Ingen Hamanoida. Loyla Oira Nitzarich Al Edis Hu Chobayolim Shatav Kushalayim Hamanoida Hu Loy Ba Nitzarich Kli Kibul Al Ohayir Sa'oilim Shamachut Flashpia Ba'il Mashafel. Comes out the whole purpose of the Gviyim, the way where the Chai explains, it fits with the general understanding of what the Menorah was about. The Menorah was not about light for itself, it was for light to give to others, to give out to the whole world. The Beis HaMikdash was the center of the Welt.
But who is looking at the Mikdash? Only Yehudim, only Jews.
Where does all the
Goyim
Kedusha
doesn't
from? All the Goyim wanted to come see the Beis HaMikdash. Sham Yizbuchu Zivchei Tzedek.
Why we makriv 70 korbanot in Chag HaSukkot?
They have, for the Goyim, they have Kabbalah.
The Goyim can also bring karbanos, right? According to this, we can understand why the cups in the menorah were upside down.
It still doesn't have the source. Why?
When you make kiddush, you hold it upwards. You need to have wine in the cup.
Right.
Can't have it spilling, right? And the since the point of the Gviyim in the Mishkan, in the Mikdash, was not in order to hold. If it would be upwards positioned on the Menorah, it's just there to hold, to be a Klei Kibul. The Gviyim in the Menorah were not here to be Makabel. It was here to be Mashpiyah, to give out. So the design of the menorah, kedusha, oir, for the whole
But the
world.
or is for the candles.
Right? In order to bring
So what's
out that the oir, in order to bring out that the oir of the menorah is not for itself. Loi la'oir ani tzarich. If la'oir ani tzarich, I need it. So the design should be upwards. This is an Indian of holding it.
So you say it's symbology somewhat.
Right?
Oh, I see. It's not ornamental, but it's just it's both.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same concept with the windows? The windows were narrow.
Right.
That's
Very good.
Like
That has been since the oil of the Menorah needs to light up to all the people in the world, which are on a lower level than the Beis Hamikdash, like the Bechai said, Mashpiyim ba'olam hashafel to the lower world. The Gvim on the Menorah Dafke were positioned this way, similar to the Chaloinis in the Beis Hamikdash, the windows, which are the opposite of everyone else.
Just the time when the Rebbe finished Fabringen, he took the cup and went upside down. And then when the Rebbe said, heard about it, she did the same thing in the house.
Yeah.
Why he did
But again, this? I don't think it was
It
this.
wasn't this?
I think that Rebbe one time he turned off his cup to show that there's no mashke in it, and everyone should be saying l'chaim. She nothing left in the kois. So he told everyone the cup is upside down, and everyone finished their cups. The Rebbe one time said in a Fabringen in the early years that there was always a Shabbos Fabringen of Beina Metzorim during the 9 days. The Shabbos of Shvur Shachal by Tisha was always a very freiliche Fabringen. The Shabbos is a time when you could be besimcha, and during the 9 days, which is a sad time, so by tzaddikim was always dafka be moisef and simcha. So the Rebbe one time said he looked at the bottle on the table, and there's some mashka left, and he said it's a isser of hachana. You're not allowed to prepare for this issue of preparing for the weekday, hinting out that if you leave over any mashka, you're sort of leaving it over for the week. So you're being meichem Shabbos l'chayil. So the Chassidim got the hint, and then he gave his keys. He gave his keys that they should go to his room, and anything that's in the mashke in the room should be given out. Nothing in the building, there should not be anything left. Everyone should say l'chaim. The Chassidim had to hold cup because they had to chazer afterwards. What the Rebbe said, the Choizrim had to chazer over the Rebbe's whole Fabringen after the Fabringen. So if they couldn't say l'chaim because you say l'chaim, how are you going to remember everything what you say later? They went to Purim Fabringen, and the Rebbe came down, and the Rebbe had already said a lot of l'chaim when he Fabring by the Purim Suda. When he came to the Fabringen, he said that it was a very, very deep Fabringen, and the Rebbe was very, very open, after l'chaim, and he spoke to people privately and told them things, and he said, even though I told you certain things privately, when you came to me Yechidus, you should know I really want from you something else. But I answered you based on what you asked me. You asked me the way you asked, I gave you the answer. But really, you should know what I really wanted. There's a tape of part of the Fabringen, and he went around and he
gave it to them.
Yeah, it was a very. He said 2 sichos, then he said a mimer, long mimer, and he said a lot of sichos. Now afterwards, the next day, he called in 2 of the choizrim who were supposed to memorize the Fabringens. This is in 1958, and he said to them, he doesn't remember. He only remembers the first 2 sichos, and he doesn't remember afterwards anything what happened in the Fabringen, and he wants them to give over to him a chazara what happened. So this was Mamash standing in front of the Rebbe in his room to give him over a review of what he said, and the Rebbe saying he doesn't remember. So they're going over and they told him over something in the Maimer that the Rebbe said that Laila, I think he said Lashon Nekeva, it had to do with a diktuk, and the Rebbe asked, "That's what I really said?" He said, "That's what you said." So he said, "If that's what I said, then we have to find a source.
You have to
find a mucker.
Makar.
Not a mucker, someone." Anyways, okay.
So he drank.
We should be blessed on that kind of brain. No, but because he meant to say that there's a reason why he said it, because the conscience of
I
the body.
understand that, but he drank, but he asks to lachazor, because he don't remember. Why doesn't he remember? He drank too much.
What's the difference between the mimer?
I don't think that is.
No?
The Maimer is really pure Chassidus. pure Chassidus Sicha. It could be different discussions in Torah. It could be a Medrash, it could be a Gemara, it could be Halacha. But the Maimarim is pure Chassidus Kabbalah. Okay, so Lamaisa.
Keep it going with the story.
Sivav. Api Hanal, based on what we explained, we could also explain what do we learn, what's the lesson we learn out from the Menorah and from these cups. As a remez alimet shagvim hayupin rachav shleim katadafke. Me'acha shagvim ramzam al'in damashke menav amumet shel deirish pa rachav. You need to have a wide mouth in order to give out hashpa. In hashpa Yehudi sheni, this asik ma'avoid the last is brought to v'chtainim, so the liasas emerachavas ha'arachvos achi gdoila, ala mayla medida agbala, and so the kabbalah malas atzim mekoich tzich gdoilim, shedar kehu mekabel toichehu rachav. Basically, when it comes to a person having an effect on other people, a person has to be not only live for himself. Our purpose is also to have effect on another Jew. Chassidim said, why? I think the Alter Rebbe said that why is the first mitzvah in the Torah Pru Revu? Because the first mitzvah that a Jew needs to know is he needs to make another Jew. First thing you need to do is create another Jew. Physically, spiritually, we should have an effect on another Jewish person. So our inyan Avos Yisrael, whether it's to help him do a mitzvah, whether it's to help him do something in Gashmias, that is the purpose of a Jew. We know the Baal Shem Tov said that a neshama comes down in this world for 70, 80 years, and just to do a favor for another Jew. It could be he came down just to do a favor for another Jew at that point in his life. And that's what he's here for. So we never know what our mission is here and what our purpose is. So in order for a person to affect other people, you need to first be able to receive in yourself Torah and Kedusha. You have to be a cup that's facing up, and that you receive, fill yourself up,
and then pour it out.
When you talk about yourself, and your own avodah, you have to be a makabel and receive from what your Rebbe's taught you and from the Torah and learn. When it comes to dealing with another Jew, to make the world, change the world, to be a place for Hashem, we need to know a person has to mashpia without any limitations, turn over the cup and give everything out. In the beginning of a person's life, he studies and he learns and he goes to yeshiva and everything. At that point, you're the receiver. You're the makabel. Later in life, you have to be mashpia and give over what you have, information you have. You know an aleph, you have to give an aleph. You were taught a beis, teach a beis. Whatever you know, you have to teach.
You come every day. You wake up in the morning. You have your shir with someone else, and then you have to you're giving over the information to someone else.
Right.
We do it every single day.
Right. And so it could be in a person's day itself. He has to daven. He has to daven by himself, right? You have to daven, and you have to learn for yourself. But then you have to give. You should give over what you have. Share what you have.
Share. Share the goods and.
Huh? Not for yourself.
And they say, they ask you in Hebrew, it says that Mishan Ochel Levad Met Levad. So I want to learn Levad.
I don't think I understood it.
The Adonim, it says regarding the Adonim, in the Mishkan they had Adonim, the sockets that were on the bottom that held the beams up. So the Machzah shekel money was given for the Adonim. For the Adonim, the sockets. However, giving the money for the general Mishkan, all the other things, which are all different types of things, people were allowed to give as much as they wanted. For the Adonim was half a shekel. Because when it comes to the Yisoid, the basis, the foundation, everyone has to have their own foundation, the Machzah HaShekel that he gives. And you have to have, it has to be a avoida which is it's constant and it's in an orderly fashion. with limitations. That's the Yisoid Adonim on the bottom of the Mishkan. However, everything else, everyone can give as much as you want. You can beautify it and make it as much as you could. After you have the basis, then when you're dealing with other parts of the Mishkan, there's no Hagbalas. Because that already is not, and that's already, we're past stage one. Once we're past stage one, and you have the basics, a person has to go to a level without any Hagbalas, and give over whatever he has to other people.
Other people, yeah.
That's a shame. No, we want Mashiach.
Very good, very nice.
Another thing is that a person's main avodah b'chlal, and a person's very avodah in his life when he as a child, when they grow older, and also in the beginning of every day, when we start a day, has to be in a level of Kabbalah's oil. We accept the yoke of Hashemayim, oil Kabbalah's and Hashemayim. It's not about a logical relationship with Hashem. We understand that Moida ani lefanecha, Moida Hashem. You are Hashem, and I'm who I am. I'm very far away. And later on in the day, a person learns and he deepens his knowledge. But the beginning starts off with the Moidani. And a person's life also, in the younger years, it starts off with the Munah and Kabbalah Sayah. Later you grow in your understanding. You can learn more. A person can learn, he learns more Chumash, and he learns Navi, and he learns Mishnayis, he learns Gemara, he goes to other Shirim, he learns Chassidus, he learns other Svarim, and he deepens his knowledge and enriches his. But the very basic of everything is the Kabbalah's oil, that Amunah that he has, that's the basis of everything. Similar to the Mishkan, the very bottom layer of the Mishkan was those sockets, the Adonim. That was the Machsa Shekel everyone gave for those Adonim, those sockets. That refers to that Kabbalah's oil, that acceptance of the yoke of heaven. That is the Yisoid for the whole Mishkan. The whole Mishkan only stands on there. Like this passage, Pashas, Ve'ela HaMishpatim Shetasim Mifneim. It says Ve'ela, whenever it says Ve'ela with a Vav, it's Moisef al Rishonim. Ma Rishonim is Sinai, just like the first ones in last week's parish in Yisrei were from Har Sinai. Also the Mishpatim mitzvahs, the logical mitzvahs that make sense and understanding, also come from Har Sinai. What's the Chiddush? Obviously it comes from Har Sinai. The part is that a Yid needs to understand that Chukim and Mishpatim, all mitzvahs in reality are all Chukim. They're all Ratzon Hashem. They're all the Ratzon Hashem. It's a person who does Mishpatim mitzvahs. He says, I don't steal because I don't think it's right to steal. But nothing to do with Hashem, then he's not connecting his mitzvah to Hashem. What does that have anything to do with Hashem? He doesn't steal because he doesn't feel comfortable with stealing. And tomorrow he'll feel comfortable with stealing. It's nothing to do with Hashem. So and all our mitzvahs, even the things which are logical mitzvahs, the mishpatim, it's something that we do because of Hashem told us to do. Now, what's the difference between the mishpatim and the chukim? They do have different names, and the Torah recognizes the difference in the names. Elamai, the Torah tells us everything is taka, all the Ratzon Hashem, at the very basis. Some mitzvahs Hashem left it that way, that's just the Ratzon, my Ratzon, and I'm not explaining to you the reason.
That's a chayk.
Some things a chayk, some things it says not only is it my Ratzon, I'm also gonna, the Ratzon will come down and it will develop into a reason, and you have to mekayim it not only because it's Ratzon Hashem, understanding it also. Otherwise you're not fulfilling the mitzvah entirely, because you're supposed to understand it. Because a person, the Rambam writes, if a person says, I want to eat the chazer, but Hashem told me I shouldn't, okay? But a person says, I want to steal, and I want to kill, but I'm only doing it because Hashem, what can I do? What can I do? Avi Shebeshamayim Gazer Alai. Nebach, my Father in heaven doesn't let me do it. He's a mushchis, the Rambam says. He's a terrible person. Meaning the mitzvah is not only that you're supposed to do it because Hashem told you, the mishpat and mitzvahs are also supposed to become ingrained in you, that you relate to it differently. You actually feel that this is immoral. You don't just say, I'm only doing it because Hashem told me that, I don't understand it. No, you're supposed to understand it. It's supposed to make sense to you, and you're supposed to be mishpatim. And the chukim mitzvahs are chukim mitzvahs. The Ratzon Hashem, it's a gzeir gazarti, ve'ein l'chal rishos l'hara achera. In mitzvahs itself, there are different reasons. Reasons which we have are the reasons that we understand in the mishpatim. But there's always different reasons in higher worlds. The malachim understand the reasons on a deeper level. The neshamas and the Gan Eden learn the Torah the way it's in a ruchniistic level. It's a whole different ball game. You know, the Rambam in his Menorah Nevuchim, his guide for perplexed, he explains about the Beis Hamikdash. In his times, Aristotle philosophy was very prevalent, and the Rambam had to struggle dealing with people that were very influenced by this philosophy, and how to coincide this with the Torah. So every generation had its issues, and the Manhigi Yisrael had to explain the Torah to that generation accordingly. So reconcile it. So so the Rambam in his guide for the perplexed Menorah Nevuchim explains the whole Torah logical way, because they will say we're not going to accept it unless you give us logic behind it. Explain us everything. So the Rambam says, goes to the Beis Hamikdash. What was the function of everything in the Beis Hamikdash? Menorah, why there's a mizbeach, the concept of sacrifices, what is the idea of a carbon. He talks about each thing. When it comes to the lechem upon him, the 12 breads that we put on the shulchan, the Rambam raises his hands up and says, I don't understand. I don't know the reason. That's what he says. For some reason, the Rambam managed to find reasons for everything. He couldn't just think of a reason. It's another form of a sacrifice. Someone told me the kohen needed to eat bread, so they made some bread. He couldn't figure out some reason to say.
Like the smell.
He said, I don't know the reason. So the tzaddikim, there were big tzaddikim that gave a hezbollah, one of the Ishbitzer, I think a Talmud of the Kotzker Rebbe, and the Radziner Rebbe's came from the Ishbitzer. So he said a gewaldige Torah, and he said like this. If you look, every Shabbos we have 3 Zmiris we say, which are from the Arizal. Arizal composed 3 Zmiris. Chabad has its negunim to these Zmiris, but the words are in the Siddur, the 3 Zmiris. So, Friday night you say Azamar B'Shvachim. By Shabbos, by day, you say Sadal Sudasa. And it has Arizal's name in the beginning, in the letters. And the third one is B'nei Hechala. And the second one, in Sadal Sudasa, we say that Arizal, part of what Arizal wrote is that we're davening Yegalal Taimei. He should reveal to us the reason the B'Srei Taimei the B'Srei Sanami. The Arizal is saying that from the foremost Mekubalim saying, please Hashem reveal to us Mekubalim, tell us what is the reason the B'Srei Trei Sanami that we have 12 breads. The Arizal in Kabbalah is saying he doesn't know the reason for the lechem upon it. The Arizal was much later than the Rambam, but the Mekubalim did not have in their tradition any reason for the lechem upon him. This is a psasai that we're going to hear when Mashiach will come. We'll hear the inyan of the lechem upon him. The Rambam,
Rashi doesn't say anything.
the Rambam says, I don't even understand the base lechem upon him. I don't understand it. I don't know. Because the Rambam is not just throwing out different logic, whatever came to his mind. I'll give this reason, I'll give that reason. The reasons the Rambam gives in the Menorah Nevuchim, even though we don't see that openly, but they're actually, it's layers. It's the outer layer of deeper reasons. And if in the deeper level, on the higher oilamus, there is no reason, the reason is not revealed, the Rambam doesn't either see the reason in his oilam. In the oilam of logic and seichel and ushi, he didn't even have a reason. He didn't just throw, if he was just making up a reason, go to the Gacham, make up a reason, and say a reason. The Rambam was saying things that he saw, the way they were in a higher madrega. He brought it down to the way his dyer would be able to understand it. They were very far, they weren't very spiritual. They needed to hear things explained in a humanistic, cold intellect. Otherwise, we're not accepting it. So the Rambam brought it down into this world, these lofty concepts said in a simple way. But if in Kabbalah, in the Soidus of the Torah, we don't have this inyan, so the Rambam also does. So we see that Rizal says he doesn't know, and the Menorah Nevuchim say they both don't know.
Rashi says many times, I don't know also.
Right?
That's a pshat. They're talking about a reason.
There was a story with the Lachem Aponim, the Rov spoke and said, the Ebershter crying now, he doesn't have Lachem Aponim. Another story.
Yeah.
And the guy went home and told his wife, okay, we're going to make bread and bring it to the Kodesh, we put it there. And Kach Friday afternoon, he brought the Lachem Aponim to the Kodesh. Shabbos morning, they open it, it's not there. So he said, the Ebershter like it.
By the way, one of the Zinner Rebbes has a sefer to explain how the Menorah Nevuchim from the Rambam, how a lot of things in the Menorah Nevuchim. This is one of the examples. He has many, many examples, one after another, to show that things that Rambam wrote in Menorah Nevuchim were based on Kabbalah. There's a lot of discussion about whether the Rambam learned Chachas Kabbalah. Some say the Migdal Ois, one of the Rishonim, writes that early on in life the Rambam did not learn Chachas Kabbalah. Later on, he did. There's a lot of discussion about it. One of the things that they say that Rambam did have, a lot of sheets held he did learn Kabbalah, but in that generation was not a time you're not allowed to reveal Kabbalah. So the Rambam was very careful to keep it in secret, and therefore he didn't mention anything about it. We find the Rambam writes regarding Payas that he says, "Shemanu mizikneinu." We hear from our elders that the Payas should be 40 strands. At least 40 strands should be left for the Payas. The only source for this is in the Zohar. There's no other source besides for the Zohar. This is one of the many, many examples of things that seem to be have some type of mocker.
Also by Chalitza, he says throw the shoe. The woman she takes the shoe and throws it. Doesn't let him mark it's in the Zohar.
Says Zoydik, that's what he said?
He doesn't say, but where did the Rambam get it from? Oh, they try to give other reasons, but the Zohar says you have to throw the shoe. Yeah,
there's a sefer. He has a sefer that it's in a Rebbe, which is I think maybe a son or a son-in-law of the Ishbitzer, who wrote the sefer Meishi Loyach, and he wrote a sefer explaining a lot of inyanim of the Menorah Nevuchim api Kabbalah. Very interesting, fascinating sefer. Anyways, we should take a see Shibana Beis Hamikdash.